I paid off my student loans by the age of 25, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. My mother is one of 14 children, and she grew up in the great island of Jamaica. By the age of 13, she came here to the land of opportunities, Rochester, New York. And by age 25, she had me. My mother works as a mental hygiene assistant at the Rochester Psychiatric Center, and she still currently is employed there. By the age of 9, my mother instilled in me lots of important values that I would take with me as I grew up: hard work, financial literacy, and to be a person of integrity. During that age, my mother told me, we're going to round up all your birthday money, and I'm taking you to the bank, and we're going to open up what's called a certificate of deposit. Now, back in the mid-1990s, they had a higher interest rate. Now, not so much. So I was grateful. My mother also taught me how to write checks. She thought that it was important that whenever we got bills, she was going to sit me down and have me write out the checks. She would tell me things like, you know, you want to pay what the amount is that's on the check and never pay late fees. It will affect a thing called credit. Credit can affect a thing called purchasing power. Also, I wanted to explore what it was like to be an entrepreneur. Yes, at the young age of 9. I made what's called juleps. Juleps, you put Kool-Aid, sugar. I see some people laughing. I guess you know what that is. Kool-Aid, sugar, water. You stir it all up. You put them in a styrofoam cup, and you put them in the freezer. In the inner city of Rochester, I would sell them for $0.25. My only problem is I had a sweet tooth, so that meant I was eating a lot of them. So the profit that I did make, my mom would quickly tell me, okay, set aside the money. This side is what you spent on the product, so you have to save this in order to go buy more products to sell some more. What you made on this side is what's known as your profit. I went on to high school, a school of the arts here in Rochester, New York. I was introduced to so many different programs, one of them being the People-to-People Student Ambassador Program. I told my mom, you know, I really want to travel abroad, go to Europe for 1 month, but the trip is $5,000. That's when I enter my first crossroad. Well, Tiffany, I don't have $5,000 for you to go on this trip. Okay, what can I do to get myself on this trip? So I told my mom, you know, Mom, I was a mini entrepreneur before. I want to sell candy. Okay, Tiffany, let's go to Sam's Club. Let's go buy your Snickers, your M&Ms, your Twizzlers, your Airheads. Let's go pick up these products for you to sell. So I sold candy to help alleviate my mom of the cost of $5,000. While walking through the hallways of high school, I was kind of like a mini corner store, making my money in between periods. Yeah, quarter here, $1 there. I was making my money. And you know what? I got my wish. I traveled to Europe for 1 month, and I was one of few kids in School of the Arts to do so. My mother would always tell me, her philosophy is, every generation should do better than the last. So I come after my mother, so I should be doing better than her. And if I have kids, my kids should be doing better than me. She told me, your parents don't have more than a high school education. You will go to college. I'm thinking, well, I guess I don't have a choice. Off to college, I'll go. I applied to over 50 scholarships my senior year of high school. And out of the 50 scholarships, I only received 7, totaling $8,000. Off to the University of Buffalo, I went to major in Spanish. Now with Spanish, you have to become fluent. And in order to become fluent, I need to immerse myself in a Spanish-speaking culture. So Mom, there's a study abroad trip to Spain. Here's my other crossroad. It costs $13,000. Tiffany, I don't have $13,000. Okay, what can I do to get myself to Spain for a semester? I think I could sell candy. I'm on the University of Buffalo campus selling candy for a semester to help alleviate my mother the expense of $13,000. Off to Spain I went. In the year 2010, I graduated from the University of Buffalo. Mom, I'd like to go to grad school. I'd like to go to grad school in Miami, Florida International University. So I got my BA in Spanish. Miami is perfect to keep it up and also study. Okay. Tiffany, you know, I helped you out throughout your undergraduate career, and she was so generous to do it, and I thank my mother so much for doing that. But Tiffany, I can't help you with grad school. Okay, what can I do to get myself to grad school? Well, I had to go on the website called FAFSA, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with it, and start taking out the student loans. $42,000 to be exact for grad school in Miami. While there, I was looking feverishly for a job that paid $7.25 working at the front desk of a resident hall. While there, I met a colleague who said to me, yeah, I'm from Philadelphia, I'm working too, I'm working to save up to pay for my flights back to and from Philly. I'm doing the same thing, to Miami, back to New York, and so forth. But I'm also saving my money towards my student loans. I'm gonna start paying on them while I'm in grad school. I look at him like, you crazy? You wanna start paying your student loans now while you're in grad school? No, no way. We have a 6-month grace period. There is no way I'm gonna start paying my student loans now. But it made sense. If I started now, I'd be hitting the principal immediately, and I would not be paying interest upon interest. So the first check I got, Department of Education, they weren't gonna get that check, so I pocketed that. Second check, I'm like, okay, what can I do to start paying towards my student loans? Any little bit helps. I started paying as little as $50 a month. By the time I graduated from Florida International University, I had already paid maybe about $1,000 on my loans from that $42,000, but that's okay, because then I landed my first job. And I think it's important to note, I've never made over $35,000 a day in my life in order to pay off my student loans. But I did things to help alleviate the cost that I might have of living on my own. So instead of renting out my apartment for a long time because, you know, I'm a graduate, I need to have my own apartment, I ended up moving back home with my mother. While living at home with my mother, I started taking a closer look at my bill. How much more money can I allocate to my student loans rather than paying a landlord, rather than paying a cable company or internet company bills for my own apartment and all these essentials that you have to pay for? I started with $700. Then it got to the point where I can pay $1,000 a month. Then it got to the point where I can pay $1,500 a month. Now I understand that this amount may not be realistic for some of us in the audience. However, my message is to motivate you and to empower you all that you can do this. You can live a life that is debt-free. When I graduated FIU, this is how I felt. I didn't go to school for art, so please don't laugh at my picture. Just saying. But I hope you understand that I felt shackled at the time. Okay, I had $42,000. I would always have friends coming to me asking me if I want to go on a cruise, and I denied them. I made those sacrifices. No, because when I earn money, I don't feel like it's my money if I owe the Department of Education. I owe them $42,000. There's no way I'm going to spend $1,000 on a trip. I can't do that right now. But then came a point in time where I could do that. Once I received this email that says, I wish I had a pointer, but it says paid in full, okay? I had $12,000 left in my student loans. That CD that I started when I was 9 years old had totaled up to a little over $12,000. I was able to write a check for $12,000 to wipe out the rest of my loans. those shackles of student debt, thank you, thank you. Those shackles that changed me were now gone, debt-free. And now that I've been debt-free, now I'm able to enjoy life the way that I want to enjoy life. For example, when I turned 27, I took a flight lesson here at the Rochester Air Center because I like to fly. I think those kind of things are interesting. So I paid for my lesson to do that. This past summer, I went to Thailand. I'm here riding elephants, laying on tigers. That was dangerous. That was dangerous. And I also competed in a bodybuilding competition. All of these things cost money. But the fact that I was no longer chained to those student loans, I was able to live the life that I wanted to live. I want to thank everybody for listening.